leading the attack for Lanus this evening. Martin Demichelis also makes a couple of changes to his lineup. We'll see that in just a moment. From their defeat against Arsenal, Nico de la Cruz and Ezequiel Barco, two players that have come into the starting 11. We'll run through that. Their defeat against Arsenal into the starting 11. We'll run through that in a moment. Arsenal, Nico de la Cruz and Ezequiel Barco, two players that have come in. It's not been the best start of the season in general, even if it's not necessarily lost that many games. Armani in goal, Rojas, González Pérez, Díaz and Casco, Enzo Perez, Nico de la Cruz holding in central midfield, Paradella and Barco out wide, Nacho Fernandez wearing that number 10 shirt, and Salomon Rondon gets another shot leading the attack. Well, results so far in what's to come on match day 6. Last night, Unión 2-0 winners against Estudiantes. Sarmiento coming from behind to defeat Rosario Central 4-1. Earlier this afternoon, Platense and Central Córdoba played out a 1-1 draw. Gimnasia and Colón played out a goalless draw. And coming up here, we've got Lanus against River. Later on tonight, Atletico Tucumán played Banfield at the same time as Newell's Old Boys play Barracas Central. Sunday's action starts at 5 in Avellaneda, where Independiente play Instituto, and then at 7:15, the Clásico between Huracan and San Lorenzo. At 9:30 tomorrow, it's Talleres versus Vélez Sarsfield and Tigre playing Argentinos Juniors. And then on Monday, we've got Godoy Cruz against Racing at 5, so too Arsenal playing Belgrano, and then at 9 o'clock, the final game, Boca Juniors against Defensa y Justicia. No time to look at the table. It's go time here in Lanus. One of the games of the round as Lanus take on River Plate. The players making their way out onto the pitch here. And I can welcome back in our play-by-play commentator. A pleasure once again to be alongside Klaus German.
Thank you so much, Peter, as the action continues in this match week 6 here in Argentina. And of course, River will try to get 3 points. That would be very important. We talked about it last game. We were talking about relegation. Now we go from talking about relegation to pretty much going all the way on top of the table. Lanus so far with a very decent start. We know their form. Yeah, they lost last game against Racing Club in a very weird match as well. But so far they started 4 out of 4. 12 points, and so far it's funny because there's 4 teams with 12 points. We have currently 4 leaders, and that's Lanus, Talleres, Defensa y Justicia, and San Lorenzo, and they've all played 5 games so far, so it's not like one has played more games than the other. So this could be important for River, because if they manage to pick up the 3 points, they can move up to 12, and of course most likely one of those teams will go up to 15. That's what most likely will happen, but at least River starts to maintain themselves at the top of the table. You don't want to lose points or keep losing points this early in the season, because you're going to have teams stretch away, and then you're going to have to play that catch-up game that becomes kind of tough. How we've seen it happen before, yeah, Boca has been down 10 points and then has come back and won the championship. It can happen, but that's not the way you want to start. So this is definitely a decisive match because of where Lanus is standing. Last season, they were always mostly at the bottom of the table. This season, they started off with a great form, and it is going to be a pretty attractive game because of the atmosphere, but so far, I think River has a lot to prove. Why? Because we've seen what happened last week. We've seen what happened in the previous weeks where maybe they've gathered the win, but they weren't too convincing as far as how they played. So I think it's a test for both teams. Lanus to keep this momentum going, to let their fans know, hey, listen, what happened last week, it was just something that wasn't supposed to happen, but hey, we're back on. And for River to kind of convince their fans of, hey, what's going on with the Michelis? You know, I've heard a lot of talk in Argentine press as far as what's going on with the Michelis. Some fans are definitely not happy. So, like I said, this game, especially what we said earlier, Peter, as far as now we're on round 6. Yeah, there's a lot of rounds. There's a lot of matches to be played, but we're not in the start anymore. We're not in those first 2-3 rounds where teams are still being tested, formations are still being tested. No, right now we're in round 6, and I think by now is when we'll start seeing who's up, really for the title contention.
Yeah, well, we should do. And of course, you have to, or you want to allow time for new managers. Martin de Michelis, possibly the most difficult job in South American football, having to replace Marcelo Gallardo after everything that he did at River Plate. However, the reality is that you're not going to be allowed a huge amount of time to tinker and get things right if the results and the performances aren't there. And the reality with River so far through 6 games, they've lost 2 games against Arsenal and Belgrano, 2 teams they should easily be beating even on off days, in truth. But even the games they've won have not necessarily been very convincing. When you look back at that win over Argentinos Juniors, a lot of people looking at the refereeing decisions that went their way and the controversy that's around there. So there hasn't really been that one performance yet where people can look back and say, okay, I see the signs of where De Michelis is taking the team. I can see what he wants to do. I can see who are the protagonists in that 11 that he's wanting to go with. Yes, of course, he's been missing a few players. He's got an important one back from the start for the first time today, Nico de la Cruz. But we need to start seeing the new River, the Martin de Michelis River, sooner rather than later.
Ladies and gentlemen, as the sun settles here in Buenos Aires, beautiful atmosphere as far as the fans see fireworks as well. Rondón en Armani, Nico de la Cruz en Barco. Again, River putting everything they got. Darío Herrera in charge of justice. As the whistle is blown, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another beautiful journey of 90 minutes goal soccer on their way. It's River Plate versus Lanus continue in match week 6 in Argentina, alongside Peter Coates and Klaus German. And it is a pleasure to bring you the match commentary covering the League of the World Champs for the 3rd year in a row. Here's Cristian Lema. Not a good pass from the former Newell's as the ball gets picked up by River. Quick ball towards Rondon, not able to hold it off. Here's Tomas Belmonte with a quick recovery, picking up his head, finding a deflection along the way, and it will be a throw in the first one of the match, and it will be for the home side.
I think both teams are going to want to try and get some control over this game early. Lanus at home with the momentum that they've had despite that defeat to Racing may feel as though this slightly wounded River are there to be taken, and that if they can apply that pressure early on that defence, then they can maybe have some joy and only cause further concern there among River. But for River, I think they themselves will want a response. They'll want to early on say, regardless of what you've seen early this season, we're not weak, we're still very, very much in the mix for the title, and we can come away from home and pick up a result. So it'll be very interesting in the opening 10 minutes to see how that plays out.
Now it's going to be interesting how River displays their tactical picture. I mean, it looks like a 4-3-1-2. Nacho Fernandez floating as a center attack in mid. Paradela, Perez, and Nico de la Cruz. You see, Paradela maybe could be more of a midfielder rather than a forward like we've seen him the last couple of match weeks. So a little more conservative as far as trying to hold the midfield. And of course, Nacho Fernandez giving tribute to his jersey number, playing as the Clásico number 10. This one's going to be a throw-in.
Yeah, it's going to be a great contest in that central midfield because it's where Lanus are really strong and combative. Belmonte and Loaiza, two really in-your-face type of midfielders who won't back away from any kind of a challenge, and they're going to get right on the likes of Nacho Fernandez and De La Cruz. They're not going to want to have them any kind of time on the ball.
Enzo Perez. Great recovery by Pedro de la Vega. Trying to put a through ball. First, Robert Rojas in Aulaucha Costa. That's going to be a foul, but the referee will play the advantage law. Here's a ball into the area for Esquivel in a great slide challenge by Leandro Pires. Looks like it was offsides. And it looks like it will be a free kick in the back for River Plate.
Yeah, it did look as though just marginally off there, Esquivel. Interesting to see him drifting over onto this near side. Lovely left foot the number 32's got, but we ordinarily see him play off that right where he can cut inside onto that left foot rather than playing on the natural left-hand side. As we see early on, De La Vega's gone over onto the right-hand side instead.
De La Vega. Foul. He's number 10. A lot of talent from this kid. We saw it from the early stages as well.
Yeah, it's great to see De La Vega back fit and producing the type of performances he had in the early stage of this season. He missed virtually the entirety of 2022 with that really serious knee injury. But it's easy to forget that he's still only just recently turned 22 years of age, still young.
So far, Lanus circulating the ball pretty well here. Ball into the area. Careful with this one. Another good defensive action by González Pires. Leandro Díaz. Tranquilo. There's the reason why they call him El Loco. Ooh! What was that?
Well, between he and Lautaro Acosta, Dario Herrera is going to hear plenty from Lanus over the course of the 90 minutes.
Esquivel ready to put this one into the area. Ball cleared. And now the chance of a counter-attack for River. Let's see if they can make this one quick and fast. 2 against 3. Nico de la Cruz on the far left. Here's the Uruguayan stepping into the area. Great defensive action by Juan Cáceres.
Yeah, a bit of
ready to clear this one out of bounds.
Bit of rustiness there from De La Cruz, maybe. Just that heavy touch allowing Cáceres to get across.
You know how sometimes you have to help out, you know, when you pass the ball, trying to pass it forward so you can help the momentum. I don't think the pass was as good as it could have been. Sometimes when you pass the ball forward, you allow the player that's already running at a fast speed to keep on with the momentum of the ball, but I think the pass was a little too backed up and didn't allow De La Cruz to take on full speed. Here's Robert Rojas losing possession. It will be a throw-in for Lanus so far. Very attractive game in the opening couple of minutes. Here's what I'm saying. Look, if you look at it, and it was a pretty heavy touch from De La Cruz as well.
Yeah, it was rather than the first touch for me, it was just that second touch. He gets it out of his feet initially, and then the second one allows Cáceres to get across. There's still a lot, not exactly a chance anyway for De La Cruz. There's still a lot to do with the defenders getting back.
There was a back and forth there between Dario Herrera and Franco Delca. I don't know if the coach ended up getting a yellow card. I don't think so. We'll confirm it in a second, but I don't think so. Here's Esquivel. Esquivel is pretty much everywhere. We see him on the left, we see him on the right. Here's Nico de la Cruz. Ball rejected by Belmonte. It's going to be a throw-in. Moments ago, we had a key match for the relegation battle between Platense and Central Córdoba. Now a key match for, or in this case, to see who's going to stay on top of the table, or who might, for just a couple of minutes or a couple of hours, take leadership alongside a couple of other teams in that first position. Where so far we have 4 different teams, as we specified when we started the broadcast with Peter. Lanus, Talleres, Defensa Justicia, and San Lorenzo. Huracan trailing right behind all of them with 11 points, as all of the previously mentioned ones have 12. So it is a pretty tight start. We've seen a lot of teams losing points, except those that I just mentioned. Loaiza. Ball towards Esquivel. Control by number 32, who quickly picks up his head, switches sides, and goes with Pedro de la Vega. Look at that touch for number 10. Good control, stepping into the area. The pass a little too long for Brian Aguirre. Now the infraction against Nacho Fernandez. Belmonte says no.
It's easy to forget with this Lanus side after how poor they were in 2022 that they'd actually found themselves sucked right into the mix for the relegation battle for this year, and they could still be there if, you know, they don't put together a good season. But given how they've started and given the lineup that they can put out here, the attacking options on display, it's difficult to really see how they got themselves into that mix into the first place.
Am I hearing that right? Ole, 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 Pepe, Pepe. Look at that ball towards Rondon. No. All ball by Cristian Lema. As the people in the stands were cheering Pepe San's name. I think, if I'm not mistaken. Good cross. Towards Juan Cáceres. Here's Raúl Loaiza picking up his head and putting another good ball towards De La Vega. Good cross into the area! And Diaz was offsides. Great response nevertheless by Franco Armani. But another great ball by number 10. Again, in the opening minutes, Lanus looking a little better.
Well, it's using the width of the pitch so well, aren't they, at the moment, Lanus? That switch again finds De La Vega in loads of space as it did last time, and again, one touch, gets it out, and immediately is able to find that cross. Diaz goes a little early, a yard or two off.
Nico de la Cruz, Nacho Fernandez, and now the chance for Robert Rojas on the far right side. Paradela. Finding Robert Rojas, Enzo Perez, and now Nacho Fernandez. There's Nacho. Enzo. González Pires. Finds Robert Rojas in a good coverage by Pedro de la Vega. See, Lanus, Peter, also a team that is not that far away from relegation. Pretty safe. 21 out of 28, but so far they picked up good points in the beginning of the season. And I think that's also made a good difference, as we see no foul here. Good movement by Loaiza. Trying to play this one forward. No foul at all, says the ref. And now once again, Jose Paradela. I think Milton Casco making his way up the right side. A chance for number 20. Another good coverage by Cristian Lema. So far, very solid. The former Newell's, the former Belgrano. Here's Esquivel between the marking of 2. And now the infraction against Loaiza. And it looks like we are going to have our first card of the match. And who is that going to be for?
I think it's Nacho Fernandez.
Nacho.
I think he was a little surprised that it was even given as a free kick, so he's bemused why it would be a yellow.
Lema. Prendi José Canale. Lema. Long ball from Cristian. Here's Robert Rojas. No handball, says the referee. Pretty close to the action as well. Good recovery here by Tomás Belmonte. quickly, finding Brian Aguirre. Canale. Now Cristian Lema. Belmonte. Ball towards Lautaro Costa. No foul here whatsoever. Good recovery by Nico de la Cruz. Another long ball towards the Venezuelan. Towards Salomon Rondon, not able to capture. Here's Pedro de la Vega moving forward. Careful with this run. Great recovery by Enzo Perez, I believe. Great challenge by the captain. Going on the ground from behind, snatching the ball away and quickly recovering it back into possession. Here's a quick touch once again towards Rondon. Rondon looks to be a little bit by himself up there.
Yeah, he does. It's not the first time they've just looked for that rather hopeful ball over the top for Rondon, with no one within 20-30 yards of the Venezuelan.
Here's Lucas Acosta. Long ball from the keeper. Here's Milton Casco. Sending this one out of bounds. It will be a throw in offensively for Lanus. Again, looking more in shape. Loaiza looking to turn. Finds Esquivel. Another good cross towards Canale, crossing the equator of the pitch. Another long cross. This one seems like it's a good one. And a chance for Juan Cáceres, the former Racing, to find the corner kick. There's the handball that everyone was asking for. I don't know what you see there, Peter, but
sort of the shoulder, leans into it with his sort of chest shoulder area.
A chance for Lanus, and it will be Esquivel ready to execute this one. Ball towards the near post, good rejection by Rondon. Ball rejected by Casco. Canale. And Lucas Acosta, who has plenty of time. Lema. Once again, Acosta getting involved. Here's Canale taking the space, putting a long ball towards Pedro de la Vega. First, Robert Rojas. Another ball picked up by Lanus Acosta. Great recovery by Jose Paradela. Here's Gonzalo Pires. There's the ball first. It's captured by Brian Aguirre. Great run by number 35. Another ball cleared once again by Robert Rojas. Ball pretty much active on this left side right here, right next to us. That's where the game mostly has flown through. Again, Lanus pushing through, looking for the opener. And once again, the man in charge, Esquivel. Good ball into the area, good clearance as well. Here's Aguirre, looking to keep it in possession, puts a good ball towards the far right. Careful with this one. Diaz inside of the area, but first the ball cleared by Enzo Perez.
Well, we talked about the importance of the opening stage. I think it will be Lanus, the happier of the two sides, playing with a real intensity, looking to get at River, causing the more dangerous openings as well, even if yet to test Franco Armani.
Here's Lema with the ball inside of the area. Another good rejection by González Pires. Now Esquivel. The cross comes in and Armani gets rid of it. Good response by the keeper as the ball now finds Barco. Good cross from left to right. The reception by Paradela, who has a clear option towards the right and the left. Decides to stick with the left. Goes with Barco. Now Nico de la Cruz, good ball into the area, looking for Rondon, but first Canale. De la Cruz. Here's Enzo Perez. De la Cruz. River cools it down. What's going on? Oh, the lights.
Well, they all seem to be on, but that does seem to be the problem that Dario Herrera was making a point of. Wouldn't be a hot day in
Now
Buenos
it looks
Aires,
a little
though.
brighter.
Wouldn't be a hot day in Buenos Aires without some sort of power cut.
I mean, now it looks a little brighter than like 5 minutes ago, right? Or maybe it's just me, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I noticed until Herrera kind of stopped play. And then he kind of sat up and said, oh, maybe it's not as bright as normal, but it certainly looks okay from where we're looking.
You know which field I have a problem with at night? The one that we were just on a couple of minutes ago. The Estadio Ciudad Vicente Lopez. That one at night is very tough to see. I swear to you, I have problems trying to identify players and just the ball itself sometimes. There's a specific requirement, and believe it or not, there's only, if I'm not mistaken, there's only 7 stadiums in South America that has them. And there's this new requirements as far as FIFA and CONMEBOL of a certain amount of lights and light power that a stadium must have, and very, very little stadiums in South America cover this specific requirement from CONMEBOL and FIFA. And what happens is when you have international games such as Sudamericana and Libertadores, if you don't have these type of lights, you get fined by CONMEBOL for not having these specific lights. So something to know as well. Here's Nico de la Cruz, good ball into the far post, good clear as well. Bailema, another chance for Loaiza. Tries to go back. And now even further. It's a $50,000 fine every time you play internationally and you don't possess these specific lights. And I'm not gonna start talking about lights because I'm not an expert, but obviously a certain power. Nico de la Cruz. Enzo Díaz. Armani with a risky pass. And now Enzo Perez holds it off pretty well. Long one looking for Salomon Rondon, looking to put it down. Here's Nacho Fernandez. Heads it towards number 25, but never really gets to it. Nico. Barco. Now Enzo Perez. Good clearance. In the back area by Canale. Here's Brian Aguirre. Canale. Yeah, the chance for Lema. Long ball from the center back. The header by Casco. Here's Diaz. as he finds Loaiza now with the outside of his foot. Good pass towards Esquivel. Great cross into the area. De la Vega! Bueno. I have no idea where that ball went, but I could have sworn that was going to be the first one of the night. What a chance! So far, the best one from Lanus, Peter.
Yeah, again, it's that switch, and it's Esquivel and De La Cruz switching sides back and forth. In the end, that may have been a flag that went up. I don't know whether it would have, when they look back on VAR, whether it would have counted, but River looking around, asking questions of one another at the spaces allowed. De La Cruz just... De La Vega, sorry, arriving at that back post unmarked.
Careful with this one. Armani catches it. Actually, let's point it out as well. Armani with a great save. I think he saves it with his thigh. He ends up just moving his right thigh and ends up saving it, because now that would have been a goal.
Yeah, exactly. Another excellent intervention by Franco Armani. Again named in Argentina's squad for the forthcoming friendlies later this month. A great celebration back at the Monumental, no doubt, for the world champions.
Barco on the far left has two markers on top of him. Good turn. Still number 21. Paradela. Another chance for Robert Rojas. Three men inside of the area looking for a header. Here's Robert Rojas towards their far post. Casco puts it back into action! Paradela! Goal for River Plate is Jose Paradela. What a finish, what a play so far. One of the best collective plays, and it all started with Barco. Ball shifted from left to right, and the finish by number 26. And now when Lanus seemed to be the better team, River takes the lead in the first half, 1-0.
Yeah, it's a gangster on a play, and it's virtually the first significant attack from River. It's really well played. Paradela's involved in the build-up. When it goes out wide to Rojas, he continues his run. And here, when it comes back across from Casco, there he is to sweep the ball in. His second goal of the season. 1 week ago, Paradela opened the scoring against Arsenal. River weren't able to hold on. We shall see whether they can this evening.
There it is. Goal confirmed. River takes the lead. Again, when Lanus seemed to be the better one, I mean, they just had a clear action with De La Vega. Now the response from the home side. Nothing here. The chance for Esquivel, right outside of the area. Esquivel, Aguirre.
Well, Acosta stayed down in the 6-yard box and went down under that challenge here from Armani.
Nah.
Nothing in that. Armani absolutely every right to come and punch the ball. It's just the sort of side of his arm that brushes Acosta. As I said, when you have Laucha Acosta and Leandro Diaz in your lineup, you're going to be getting a lot of appeals, a lot of complaints.
We know that already, right? We already saw one from Diaz as well, asking for a penalty there in the opening minutes. Great touch by Diaz, looking for Acosta, ball rejected by Nico de la Cruz. Lucas Acosta very active with his feet. Good clearance by Enzo Diaz. Now the response from Barco so far. Good minutes from number 21. Moving towards the left, getting away from the mark of Loaiza. No foul, says the ref. Wins it from the ground, gets back up. Referee applies the advantage law on this one. Here's Nico de la Cruz. That's going to be a foul.
Well, Barco wanted a foul initially that wasn't given. Eventually, I think, gets one for the second little bite from Loaiza.
I'm gonna tell you something right now. I've liked the start from Barco this season. Last season, it's like he never really got involved. He had a couple of interesting matches, yes. He scored a couple of goals, yes, he did. But it's like this season, I don't know if you see him the same way, but I see him a little more confident, like, you know, like that player that wants the protagonism, something that we didn't see from him last season when he arrived.
Yeah, absolutely. I think exactly the same. But what we have largely seen so far this season is him making impacts from the bench. So this, for me, is a really big chance for him to come into the starting 11.
And that's another thing, too. He secured himself a spot in the starting 11. Because last year, he would play maybe one game as a starter, and then he would be benched for 2-3 games. He would come on minute number 60, 65, around there. But also, I mean, obviously it gives a player a confidence when you put him in the starting lineup for a couple of games. Confidence obviously builds up as well.
Yeah, and I think talent-wise, Ezequiel Barco should be one of the protagonists in the LPF. He should be one of those players that you look to win your matches, because we know on his day, he is that match winner. He's someone who can conjure something out of nothing, can go and beat a man, can score goals, can create goals, but just really struggled for inconsistency really throughout his career so far. It's the problem in the US with Atlanta. It's really the reason why he's back in Argentina with River, and it's still been the case here even under Marcelo Gallardo, when you thought it would be the move that really helped him restore him to the player that many thought he was going to be when he obviously shone as a teenager at Independiente.
Vamos a bajarle, tranquilo. And obviously the match, it is going to get heated as time goes by. Here's Brian Aguirre. Good ball towards Pedro de la Vega, who picks up his head, looks for the cross, decides to stick towards the ground. The good 1-2. Once again towards number 10, looking to first keep it inbound, and now looking to put it back into the area. Aguirre. Here's González Pires with the rejection. Good control by Nacho Fernandez. No foul, no foul. I didn't see a foul there. Play it on. Here's Pedro de la Vega. Pedro de la Vega. It's going to be a goal kick.
Yeah, good refereeing there. Nacho Fernandez really looking for that one. He was sort of going down a dead end as the ball going out of play, and just wanted to try and get a bit of contact, pick up a cheap free kick. So good refereeing to allow it to go on and allow Lanus to get the ball back.
Paradela. Still Jose. Finds the corner. Good run by number 26. Another player that last season wasn't taken much into consideration, and this season so far has not only gotten a couple of starts, but like you said, second goal this season for him. A player that we're not really used to see him convert.
Well, he only scored one goal last season in the league, that also coming against Lanus in a 2-1 win, but he's already doubled that tally within 5 and a bit games.
Paradela and Nico de la Cruz. I don't know if they have something prepared here or the ball just will go directly into the area, and yes it will. Rejected on the near post by Pedro de la Vega. Here's Barco, who has to recycle it. Casco as last man puts it back into action. Long one for Paradela, but this one's going to end up right in the hands of Lucas Acosta, who decides to distribute quickly. Pretty smart too. And now Leandro Diaz goes on the ground against Enzo Diaz. The two Diaz's combined offensively and defensively. Esquivel puts this one into the area, far post, good header by Enzo Diaz, once again getting rid of it. Here's Loaiza, another cross and another rejection by Enzo Diaz. Here's Loaiza times 3, good ball into the middle.
Oh, what a waste.
Canali.
Yeah, well, it's a centre-back's finish, isn't it? It's really nicely done by Loaiza here. Could have easily just thrown that back into the mix, and instead cuts back inside the defender, gets his head up and spots a player right on the edge of the box, unmarked, rolls it perfectly into the path of Canali. And unfortunately for Lanus, the centre-back leans back and lifts that one high into the stands.
Long ball from Lema. No foul here. Poor touch. Nacho Fernandez. Ball rejected. Lema beating Salomon Rondon on the marking. The distribution towards Aguirre. Here's Esquivel. Very good ball towards the far post. Two players go for it. Here's Aguirre. It's going to be a goal kick.
And the fullbacks high up the pitch for Lanus. Aguirre down this left. New signing Cáceres trying to provide width down that right as well. As we look back on the goal. And it's a combination of the two fullbacks, so Rivers fullbacks as well, influential in the attacking third. Rojas crossing from the right, Casco up on the left, and pulling it back into the path of Paradela.
Canali. The ball stolen. That's going to be a foul from Paradela.
Yeah, clearly just giving a pull back there, stopping Lanus breaking away.
And that right there, you see how he's pulling his shorts right there. Now this one will be played into the area. Long ball towards the far post. Good header into the middle. And another rejection by Enzo Diaz. So far very active defensively. Here's Salomon Rondon. Not a good control by the Venezuelan. Bomba! Forward. No one there other than Lucas Acosta. And now José Canali.
Having such a strange moment that from a River Plate side, just a hopeful ball over the top to absolutely no one. Just so accustomed to see this kind of slick on the ground passing.
Armani! He was offsides. Sorry about that, Peter. Go ahead.
Another good stop, regardless of the flag, as Aguirre again gets forward there. But on the whole, Lanus, the team behind, but it's been the home team that I think have produced the better moments and looking more control of this game. River have really had that one passage of play they've got the goal from, and otherwise still look very disjointed for me. The midfield doesn't seem to really be clicking. There's been a few discussions there you can see along the back line. I don't think they quite feel as though they're getting the protection they want from the midfield, and at the same time Rondon's not getting the support.
The recovery by Loaiza.
Good spot from the linesman. Aguirre just off there as he gets threaded behind by Esquivel.
Loaiza. Here's Nico de la Cruz. Enzo Perez. Good ball down the middle. Good takeaway. No foul whatsoever. Here's Aguirre. Esquivel with a beautiful back heel. Good effort by number 32, but the ball remains in possession of River. Now the foul. Nico de la Cruz. Almost losing possession. Here's Enzo Diaz. Shifting the ball from left to right. Long cross. Towards Robert Rojas. Paradela. Barco. Look at Casco on the far left. Still Barco. Nico de la Cruz. Barco. Nico de la Cruz. Chance for González Pires. Enzo Diaz. Ball keeps moving around for River. Here's a beautiful ball towards Robert Rojas, who seems to be onside. Nacho. Salomon. Salomon. Now Casco back into action. Paradela down the middle. And a good response by Lucas Acosta.
Oh, what a goal that would have been. It must have been about 50 passes in that play as River patiently went one way or the other before eventually picking up the tempo and working their way to the edge of the box.
Aguirre. Here's Cristian Lema. Rojas. Es Nico de la Cruz. Robert Rojas. There's the marking by Esquivel. A mistake in the back. Another chance for River. Careful with this one. Here's Nacho Fernandez. Ball into the middle, but a good recovery first by Loaiza. Now Lautaro Costa. That's going to be a foul. That's going to be a foul. And that will be a foul indeed.
Yeah, De La Cruz arriving there late and catching Acosta. Now back onto his feet already. initially, I think, was just asking for a little bit more there. There we go.
Monte. A chance for Esquivel down the left side. Shifts this one towards the middle, where Raúl Loaiza quickly moves the ball towards the far right. Again, Lanus so far more touches, more possession. It's weird seeing River like this, right? Because usually they're the team always in charge of maintaining possession. It's kind of weird seeing them play defensively. Don't get me wrong, it's a style. You may like it or not, but I think we're just so used to, for so many years, of seeing River always being the protagonist with the ball. Then now we're seeing games where they're playing more defensive, and we're like, wow, it's just kind of rare to see it. Just put it that way.
Yeah, it is. I think the thing about this performance so far today is I'm not even sure if it's necessarily that they're set up to play defensively, because we're not really seeing them, when they are sitting defensively, break forward at great speed. And we are seeing on a couple of occasions, we just did in that great bit of passenger play, them stringing together passes and looking a little bit more like the River of old. But there just doesn't seem to be those connections through the midfield. We're seeing a few now increase as Nacho Fernandez spreads it wide, but in general, as you said, we're used to seeing that from minute 1 through to the 90th minute. Non-stop, pass, everyone knowing where they should be on the pitch and just break sides down, and it's just not quite clicking for them.
Enzo Diaz. We're going to play 3 more minutes of added time, so until minute 48 we'll go. Actually 2 to minute 47, excuse me. There's no need to take a water break on this one since it started a little later. Obviously the temperature has gone down a bit, unlike the last match when we had to stop for at least 2 to 3 minutes to get a couple of drinks because of the high temperatures. They play this one quick. Once again, a very good reaction by Enzo Diaz. Again, I was the one to criticize a little bit when Enzo Diaz started playing as a center back in that first game against Belgrano. He actually committed a serious mistake that ended up in a goal from Belgrano. But as time went by, and again, we talked about the coach giving a player confidence, putting him through, giving him the starting position. And as time went by, as games went by, Enzo Diaz has been playing very, very well in that position, something that we didn't see when he played in Talleres, when mostly he played as a fullback.
Yeah, it was a rough start, as you mentioned, that game against Belgrano, and I think a lot of people were looking at that saying, why have River bought a guy who was a left back and now playing him as a centre back? But he has responded well to that. Paulo Diaz is now fit again, so there's another defensive option as we go into half-time.
Peter, I don't know if you want to add anything so far. Very, very interesting first half. So far, Lanus, the team with more touches, more passes, more possession. But River goes into the locker room with a 1-goal lead after a good build-up that ends up in a goal by Paradela.
Yeah, one real moment of quality from River, and that's been the difference so far, because otherwise I think you'd probably argue that Lanus have been the better side in the balance of play. They haven't been able to make it count, and as a result, we're set up for a very, very intriguing second half.
Packed house here in the Nestor Diaz Perez Stadium. Hopefully we get a second half that could be exciting. So far, River clinching the first spot. Momentarily, of course, will fill points if this result persists. Ladies and gents, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with all the halftime show action by Peter Coates. And, of course, we'll return later on with the second 45 minutes. So far, River Plate leads Lanus at halftime, 1-0. Quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
this would certainly be one of those kind of results where they might be able to say it could be a turning point against a team in really good form, near the top of the table and away from home. Hasn't been exactly a flowing performance by River, but if they were to hold on and get all 3 points, it would be really something to hold on to. Before we look ahead to the second half, we'll look at the goals so far from match day 6 in the LPF. Well, we begin last night in Santa Fe, where Union picked up their first win of the season at the expense of Estudiantes, struggling Estudiantes. And this defeat, by all reports, costing Abel Balbo his job after just 6 games. This was the opening goal, scrambled in by Oscar Pires just after half-time. Great save, initially keeping the ball out, but couldn't stop Pires finding the finishing touch, and couldn't do anything about this breakaway either, as the impressive Imanol Machuca made it 2-0 with 20 minutes to go. A sealed victory for El Tetenge. In Junin, Sarmiento responded very well to this goal when they went behind against Rosario Central. Gino Infantino, after just 7 minutes, putting the Canaggia in front. Of course, Central, one of the teams surprising a few with their positive start to this LPF campaign. However, they found themselves down to 10 men after Kevin Ortiz was sent off in the second half. And in the last 20 minutes, everything fell apart. Some really poor goalkeeping here allowed Javier Toledo to profit and make it 1 apiece. A bit of good fortune as well, the ricochet off the back of the defender. And soon after, an own goal made it 2-1. It was Liche Lopez with the shot towards goal, going off target, but coming off Carlos Quintana and into the back of the net, putting Sarmiento in front with a little over 10 minutes remaining. And soon after that, it was 3-1. Lucas Milano with an excellent shot from distance. Nice turn, ball sitting up nicely and managing to beat the goalkeeper from about 25 yards. And 2 minutes from time, Liche Lopez did get his goal. First one denied by the deflection, going by the way of an own goal. No denying Liche Lopez with this one on the breakaway, tapping in from 5 yards out to make it 4-1 to Sarmiento over Rosario Central, and important points on the board for El Verde. Earlier today, Platense met Central Córdoba, and after a very, very quiet 70 or so minutes, Platense got themselves in front. Gaston Suso hooking the ball in from this corner to put the home team in front and on course for what would have been a hugely important 3 points against a direct relegation rival. However, they were unable to hold on. Lucas Gamba off the bench for Central Córdoba and earning his side a point. Shot from just outside the box that Ramiro Macaño, the Platense goalkeeper, won't want to see too often. Bit of misfortune there as Gaston Suso slipped, and in the space, Gamba got his shot off and managed to beat the goalkeeper to earn Central Córdoba a point. Important results already on match day 6 in the LPF, and what would be a very important result here for Martin de Michelis and River if they are to hold on. There's a long way to go before we can start talking about a win on the road for River Plate here, but they do lead Lanus by 1-0 at the break, thanks to that goal by Jose Paradela. However, de Michelis, I'm sure, will be saying to his players that they have to improve. It hasn't been a scintillating opening 45 minutes from the Missionarios. At times they've been second best, but they have been able to keep out an in-form Lanus side, who we're beginning to see maybe a little bit more of what they're made of. 4 wins on the bounce before defeat to Racing last time out, and now behind against River Plate. What exactly are El Granate made of? We'll find out very, very soon to see if they can turn this one around, and that's what makes this one set up beautifully for the second 45 minutes. Our play-by-play commentator, Klaus German, is still alongside me. And Klaus, we had a very interesting first half there in which River at times didn't really look like they'd got going. However, they do find themselves in front, and as I said, that's really why we're set up perfectly for this second half.
Yeah, Peter, and it's funny too because we were talking about it with our producer, and I was talking about it with him during halftime as well, and he was making a couple of jokes during the last couple of minutes, and that's why I mentioned it as well during the match. It's interesting seeing River play so defensively. Personally, I've been watching Argentine soccer for the past 20 years or so, so I've seen different styles, but I think in the last couple of seasons, the last couple of years, we've been so accustomed to seeing River playing a specific way, and no matter what the circumstance could be, they always stick to that play. They always stick to that philosophy that they had with Marcelo Gallardo. So now seeing them defend, you know, seeing only one man pressure up top and then two strict lines of 1 of 4 and then 1 of 5 right in front of it, and then obviously Salomón Rondón by himself up there, it's kind of weird to see it. Is it bad? No, absolutely not. It's their style. Why do they have to play like Gallardo? Gallardo's gone. He's no longer part of River Plate. Not for now, at least. So it's just interesting. I wanted to point it out because that new style that they have, you know, at times they defend and at times they attack, and it's working out for them pretty well. And obviously, as time goes by, I think that new philosophy of Martín de Michelis is going to be seen more and more.
Yeah, for me, at times in that first half, Rondón certainly was a little too isolated, and when I look at that midfield, sometimes Nacho Fernandez is the guy that I'd like to see a little bit deeper. We saw him trying to get forward in support, but it looks like a formation for me that looks absent of a support striker, a guy like Matias Suarez. Whether or not when he's fit again, whether he could be that man, whether he'll ever be at the level that we saw under Marcelo Gallardo, but I think he would thrive in that kind of system, getting a little bit closer to Rondón, being able to link play and allowing Fernandez to play in that midfield. At the moment, things are obviously still in that phase when people are trying to get used to Martín de Michelis and that new style.
Ladies and gentlemen, the action continues here in the Néstor Díaz Pérez Stadium. This is round 6 in Argentina. Alongside Peter Coates, I'm Klaus German, and so far, River Plate taking the 3 points back home. 1-goal lead against Lanus, thanks to José Paradela. No substitutions for the second half, or let me just confirm, because I was writing down.
No changes from either side.
A couple of things. Good. Nacho Fernandez has been flopping a lot. Here's Pedro de la Vega. Interesting things from number 10. There's Nacho Fernandez back on his feet. Laucha. Down the middle. Interesting things from number 10. There's Nacho Fernandez back on his feet. Now an interesting chance for Lanus.
Yeah, the River reaction there seems to suggest they think Acosta went to ground a little bit easily. I think he does get caught there by De La Cruz, though. He just tries to go between a couple of challenges.
It's a very crowded box for Lanus as the ball makes its way in. Here's Belmonte inside of the area. The chance of a shot. Canali. The ball gets blocked along the way. Another shot. The ball's still alive. Here's Salomón Rondón getting rid of it. Sends it forward, but the ball will be picked up by Juan Cáceres, from a Racing man, who finds Lucas Acosta with a very, very long rejection. Good header to clear out by González Pires. Ball still alive. A clash there between Robert Rojas and Laucha. Here's Leandro Diaz, very far away from the area, no foul whatsoever. Good recovery, and now Barco with the repossession, asking for options. Here's Rondón. Again, clearly there, Barco asking for options. No one close to number 21. No one has an option, at least, for number 21.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I think you were talking about at half-time there, Klaus. How many times in recent years do you find a situation where a River player breaking forward in that position like Barco is with his hands open saying, where are my options? And he ends up having to just poke it 20, 30 yards forward to try and find the feet of Rondon, who's completely isolated. Normally, there's runners everywhere as everyone streams forward.
Here's Leandro Diaz again, very far away from the area. Usually, he's a target man. Usually, he needs to be inside of the area, but obviously the lack of deliveries has had him come out, trying to participate a little more. Here's Belmonte. Cristian Lema. A touch by Esquivel. Aguirre keeps it inbound. And now, good shield by Milton Casco. And will be a ball for River. Oh, what a way to bring it down. By José Paradela. Robert Rojas. You know, Nacho Fernandez, that's going to be a foul. That's going to be a foul. We got a piece of grass there, patch of grass. Lifted up as well. The yellow card for Canale. And the free kick for River.
That's that little touch from Paradela before to take it out of the sky. Absolutely beautiful. And this is the yellow card. Oh, Canale is pointing to the turf as if that had some factor in the challenge itself. But unfortunately, the pitch was just another victim of that slide challenge.
It's going to be the second yellow card of the match. One for each side. Nacho Fernandez and now Jose Canale. Now the chance for River played off the free kick. Careful with this one. It's a very crowded box as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players looking for a header. Here's Nacho Fernandez. Ball right into the hands of number 42. Number 42. Who was it that wore number 42? Was it Juan Jose Lopez, right? He used to wear number 42, I remember. It's like one of those numbers that's always used in a certain team. And Lanus always has somebody wearing 42. I don't know why. Look at this one. Esquivel gets away from two markers. The chance for number 32. Ball into the area. Right into the hands of Armani. Good coverage defensively from both Enzo Diaz and González Pires. What are our options to replace Casco? Elias Gomez?
Well, I guess
Marcelo Herrera?
Enzo Diaz, the guy we mentioned before, could move across, couldn't he? Into that left-back position, and then you've got Jonathan Maidana, Paulo Diaz, who could come in, and Paulo Diaz is indeed the man who's going to come in. Back fit, the Chilean into central defence, you'd assume, and pushing Enzo Diaz into that familiar from his Tajeres days anyway to left-back.
A clear message from the Lanus fans. I don't know if it's against River or against Casco. I think it's against Casco. That's part of the entertainment, ladies and gents. If you understood it, great. If you didn't, I'm sorry, but I can't translate it. I'll probably get in trouble. There's the repetition of the goal, by the way, from Jose Paradela so far. The one goal that has River picking up the 3 points, making it win number 4 for Martín de Michelis this season. They would move to 4 wins and 2 losses.
First appearance of the season for Paulo Diaz, a 28-year-old. Has been a real regular, not just since arriving, but under Marcelo Gallardo, an important figure.
header by the Chilean, making his first contact with the ball. Here's Barco with a good turn. Again, Barco has a quick little feet. That little 360 turn that he's been doing. Quick little feet from number 21. It's going to be a foul and a free kick once again for the visitors.
Yeah, it was that little pirouette. When you look at the replay of the goal and you go back a little bit further to the action sort of pre-build-up, that Barco creates that situation. He spins away from a couple of shirts before finding Paradella, before it goes out wide for the cross. Plays a really important part in that River goal, even if the highlights don't pick it up.
Chance for Lanus, good ball into the area, looking for Diaz. Even better, the rejection from Paulo Diaz. And now we're going to have Enzo Diaz, we're going to have Pablo Diaz, and we're going to have Leandro Diaz. Does anybody want another Diaz? Let me know. We're given now by the pair. Here's Esquivel. Oh, beautiful run by number 32. Finds Leandro. He's onside. Leandro! Oh, he was on. He was on. Oh, he's off? Never mind. I'll take that back then. It's going to be a goal kick.
Yeah, waited a while for the flag to eventually come up. I think it did, but you could see Diaz, I think, wanted a fraction earlier. It looked for a moment as though Esquivel was going to take the shot on himself. He does really well getting away from two. It's on his left foot. He's got Loaiza coming through the middle as well before he eventually plays it. And now we'll see a change. Lautaro Acosta making his way out, the first change for the home team. And coming on in his place, it's Luciano Boggio, the Uruguayan.
The former Defensor Sporting man, making his way into the match. See, if Boca wins this weekend, they could potentially leave Lanus behind. So this would be a pretty tough defeat for Lanus, because they would move probably from first to, I would say, probably fifth or sixth even, depending on what happens with Huracan-San Lorenzo. I mean, they could even move sixth or seventh. So taking into consideration that they had a pretty good start, you know, taking two defeats back to back. I mean, again, on paper, losing against River Racing is not a big deal, right? You would think that could happen. But as far as psychologically, I mean, kind of a bummer.
Yeah, I think that would be the important message. Even if they were to lose this one, from Franco Delca and everyone at the club, to really put those results to one side. Two teams that at the start of the season and what should prevail, Racing, River, two guys that go and challenge for the title.
Here's Cáceres making his way down the right side. Good cross into the area. Pedro de la Vega. Great reaction by Paradella. Ball still alive. Here's de la Vega. Not too far away. Couple of inches from Armani's left post. It's going to be a goal kick.
Well, Paradella does really well initially with that challenge. Wins the ball back and then gifts it away. And it gives De La Vega a second chance to shoot. And you can see great angle there. What he's trying to do, just use the bodies in front of him almost as a wall to block Armani's vision and just bend it to that far corner, but can't get the required movement on the ball.
González Pires. And now the cross Lorenzo Perez towards the middle, gets taken away. Good recovery by Esquivel. There's Canale. Diaz with the quick touch. The poke by Belmonte. Now Loaiza. And again, Lanus circulating the ball pretty successfully. Great ball into the area, looking for Diaz. That's going to be a corner.
Excellent defending by González Pires, because he know how much of a handful Leandro Diaz is in the air, and that's exactly what Lanus were playing for, just hanging the ball up, allowing Diaz to go and attack it, and González Pires more than equal just to flick it behind.
It will be Luciano Boschio putting this one into the area. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players looking for a header. They're going to play this one short. Here's Esquivel, ball towards the far post. Lehmann! For Lanus, Cristian Lema, ladies and gentlemen, beautifully executed from the corner kick. Esquivel puts it in the area, number 2, with a huge height, takes advantage over everyone else, puts this one towards the back of the net, and Lanus, early in the second half, equalizes things up. It's 1-1.
There's the first goal for the club for Cristian Lema. What a leap, what a header, and getting Lanus probably deservedly back level on the balance of this game overall. River just give him a little bit of a run, an opportunity to build a bit of momentum and then get up above the marker and find that header. Nothing Franco Armani could do from that range. VAR having a look at this incident. Can't see really what's wrong with that. For me, Lema just seems to get up above everyone else.
I don't see anything there at all.
No. It's not as if he's got his arms helping him get above a defender. He just gets the run, he has that momentum and gets above. He's not climbing up, using a defender to get over and get that elevation. For me, there's nothing there.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. If they call this a foul, we gotta pack things up, and I'll pack things up and go.
I mean, if it's that challenge, I'm not quite sure what the delay would be.
Okay. Offside by Canale.
And that seems to be, the way they paused it there suggests that they're looking at Canale's position.
The ball leaving the pitch maybe when it's executed from the corner kick or from the short pass.
Yeah, I mean,
because it did take a big curve. I don't know if you saw it. It took a big curve, and I don't know, maybe then it could have gone out of bounds.
Yeah,
and
it did. But I don't think it took a big enough curve to go out all the way out to play and back in. For me, it has to be that. Is Canale in an offside position when Lema heads it, and is he in a position where he's interfering with play? Well, whenever we get these really long delays, always feel as though we're going to end up getting the goal ruled out. Dario Herrera might make himself the most unpopular man in Lanus if he makes a decision. You can already see Laucha Costa and Frank Kudelka letting their thoughts be known. And this is the moment, it seems. That position of Canale just in front of Gonzalez Pires. I don't think he really has any impact on Armani's position or whether he gets there. But the ball takes a little touch off, for me, what looks like Gonzalez Pires' thigh. Or is it Canale's thigh? If it's Canale, then it's a different question. Oof.
It's like he swings his thigh, right?
There's a touch, isn't there? There's a little feather-like touch on the way through. The ball makes a second contact with someone. And if it's Canale and he's just a fraction off, then it'll be very, very harsh on Lanus. But I suppose by the letter of the law, if it was to come off him and he was in an offside position, then... Just thought when I first saw it, it was Gonzalez Pires as he makes that little motion. But now I'm not quite so sure. And I'm still not sure, having looked at it about 50 times.
Nah, I don't see. I think he swings his thigh, but I don't think he touches the ball. I think it's a late reaction, you know. But
well, I think for me, it's one of those that if you need to look at something under the microscope this much. And in truth, I don't think anything that happens here affects the play. Lema wins the header cleanly. The header's going on target in exactly that path. Armani isn't distracted by anyone or anything and doesn't get there. Well, there we go. An offside's been given. What a let-off. I think when you look back at the earlier game in this season, when a lot of people were questioning all of the decisions that went in favour of River when they won against Argentinos Juniors, with disallowed goals in that game, penalty decisions in the way of River, this will be another one which a lot of people, particularly those that lean towards Boca, will look at and say, well, River are getting off some very, very generous decisions, because that is so harsh on Lanus.
And I'm not just saying this in Argentina, but all over the world, we've killed the sport, and it sucks, but we killed it. We killed it. Straight up, we killed it. We see the same things in Spain, the same things in England, same things in France, in Italy. So this is not a South America thing. We saw it in the World Cup with certain decisions being called that didn't make any sense, certain penalties. So it's crazy how we've killed this beautiful game by applying a technology that's just, in my opinion, just useless. Because there was no interference whatsoever from Canale in that play. not in Armani's vision. He didn't touch the ball. There was no contact whatsoever. So, I mean, but it is what it is. Got to get used to it.
Well, amid all that, Klaus, we had a couple of changes for River. We've seen Lucas Beltran come in for Salomon Rondon. We also see Rodrigo Aliendro come in for Enzo Perez.
Another chance for Lanus. And things are starting to get pretty heated outside. Somebody's getting a red.
Frank Kudelka. Can't quite believe it, but he's been shown a red card by the look of it after his protests over that. And you can understand, thinking his team are level, and looking at the replay, still can't be entirely sure why or how that goal gets disallowed.
Another good ball in the area, good rejection here as well. Boscia. Is that going to be the second? That's Barco.
Second River player into the book then, Barco and Nacho Fernandez.
Oh, another set piece for Lanus. Another crowded area, good ball played in. The header still alive. Canale, who was going towards the ball, careful because he's already on a yellow card. Long ball from Cáceres into the area. The header by Paulo Diaz. Trying to prevent the corner, but not able to do so. A chance for Lanus. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7 players attacking this one. Lanus once again looking for the equalizer. Here's Esquivel, good ball into the area, good rejection on the near post. Here's Nico de la Cruz, and now the counter attack from River. Let's see if they can pull this one through quick. That's going to be a yellow.
Well, the yellow's gone for the earlier challenge. Loaiza just takes a swipe at Nacho Fernandez, and that's what Dario Herrera's brought it back for. You'll see here, just gives him a kick as he tries to get away. I think it's a little fortunate because look at that, just after Canale is the guy that slides in on Aliendro, and I think that's what some of the River players are saying here. If the play goes on, there was another challenge.
That should be a red.
Exactly.
That should be a red. Hey, can I tell you something? Can I tell you? You know what's funny? I don't want to say it because I don't want to sell smoke, quote unquote. I don't want to. But I was going to tell you literally a minute ago, I was going to be like, listen, now he's going to try to switch sides because he messed up by calling that goal off. So now he's going to try to be a little bit in favor of Lanus. I saw it in the free kick before from Barco, and now I'm seeing it again. This should have been a double yellow. Not only it's a clear yellow because it's a foul, but you're stopping a counterattack. It's like...
Yeah, for me, he took the weak, easier decision there to say, I'm going to pull it back and show the yellow card to Loaiza, rather than make the big decision and potentially even further rile the home supporters by sending off a player. And there's also been a yellow card shown to González Pires in his protests there as well. So another River player in the book.
The refereeing tonight from Dario Herrera has been horrendous. I don't know if I can put that any more clear. But the refereeing tonight has been, my God. It's been tough. It's been tough.
Yeah, the problem as well, once you make one, two of those decisions, you quite rapidly lose control of the game completely.
Here's Nico de la Cruz. Good turn by the Uruguayan. Puts it into the middle. Beltran. Another ball towards Enzo Diaz. Great cross into the area. The chance on the far post, but the ball rejected by Brian Aguirre. Here's De La Vega. Loses possession. Good movement by Barco, finding Paradela. Robert Rojas. And now Nacho Fernandez. Good touches from River here. Nico de la Cruz. Foul. And a free kick.
Yeah, well played by De La Cruz. Uses his body really well here. Sees Esquivel coming. Lets the ball roll across him. So ensuring that his body's between he and the player. Draws that contact. Gets a little knee in the back of his thigh. And wins the free kick.
They're going to play this one short. Here's Barco right at the edge of the area. Finds Nico de la Cruz. Back towards Barco. Ezequiel. Nico. Ezequiel. Ball into the area. Good clearance by Lima. But the ball's still alive. Nacho Fernandez finding Robert Rojas. Paradela. Now the chance for Rodrigo Aliendro, putting an interesting ball down for the Paraguayan. Good shield here by Canale. It will be a goal kick for Lanus. Here's De La Vega. Good turn by number 10. Esquivel. Interesting ball towards Cáceres. And what a challenge. What a defensive challenge there from González Pires, who so far has been outstanding defensively. Very solid. From number 14, it's going to be a corner kick as Lanus keeps pushing, looking for the equalizer. They're going to play this one short. Here's Boschio trying to put this one in the area. Ball takes a deflection along the way. Still number 8 in control of the ball. Pokes it back into the middle. But it looks like we have an offsides prior to that.
Well, brilliant defending this. Great build-up play from Lanus as well. Esquivel into the space. And it's a devilish ball by Cáceres into that back post. So difficult to defend against when you're running at speed back into your own net almost, but González Pires gets there ahead of Leandro Diaz to get it away, and his turnaround in form has been really important to River this season, because he's another one who last year I think a lot of people questioned his level. He made that big mistake in his Super Clásico, never really recovered, didn't see a great deal of him for the rest of the season, but he's been vital under Demichelis so far.
Good ball into the middle, looking for Diaz. And he is going to call that foul. At first I thought it was a foul from Diaz. But I don't know if he's the one that ends up taking the challenge.
Well, while we figure out that free kick, Demichelis will make his final 2 changes. Santiago Simon and Agustín Palavecino, the 2 that are coming on into the River midfield. In place, we understand, Nacho Fernandez and Nico de la Cruz. judging by that board there. The tactics board looks like Franco Orozco will be getting ready for Lanus. There he is. Clearly see him there on the left-hand side of the attack.
Again, another very crowded box for Lanus as they are still looking for the equalizer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players inside of the area. Ball cleared. Aguirre puts it back into action. Belmonte! Armani! Listen, I don't care if it's an offside or not. Armani with the save. And there's a reason why he's still part of the national team. It's going to be a corner kick.
Oh, another fantastic save, and as you say, Klaus, whether or not a flag went up afterwards, it doesn't really matter, because Armani didn't know that. Belmonte gets a great header on it and thinks it's sailing towards that top corner.
Careful with this one. Esquivel will try to keep it inbound, but a little too much for number 32. It's going to be a goal kick as people start to get impatient here. We're wasting just a little bit of time. Here's the previous one.
Well, River switch off defensively, don't they, when that second ball is just delivered in, because no one's even remotely close to Belmonte. And there is that change for Lanus. Franco Orozco's on for Raul Loaiza. An attacking change with 10 to go.
And Lanus still with the momentum. No foul here, says the ref. Good ball into the area, looking for Barkova first. Good capture by Lucas Acosta. Long ball. Good defensive action by Enzo Diaz, who pretty much had to take that spot after Milton Casco left with an injury. Replaced by Pablo Diaz, who later on took the spot of a center back, originally occupied by number 13. Good movement here from River Plate. Here's Simon. Return down the middle. That looked like a handball.
It's the first bit of league action for Santi Simon this season. Something of a surprise, considering he scored 2 goals against Banfield in midweek the other week, and they played that Trofeo de Campeones semi-final.
It's going to be a chance for River ball making his way into the area. Good clearance by Lema. Quick throw in this one. Goes right into the hands of Acosta once again. No foul on this one. Good recovery by Robert Rojas. Belmonte. Good combination in the middle. The chance for Lanus, who's still pushing through, looking for the equalizer. Here's Aguirre with a header. This one goes right into the hands of Armani. Again, Armani has been key for River Plate tonight. So far, still keeping a clean sheet. Looks like Franco Troshansky will be making his way in soon for Lanus. Good cut by Juan Jose Cáceres. Beautiful ball into the area. Another good rejection on the back of River Plate. This time by Palavecino. Here's a chance for Beltran. Good movement by number 18. Good quick touch as well by Paradela. That ball was supposed to go for Beltran, who still snatches it away. And now the rejection from El Monte. It will be a throw-in for River, but first the substitutions.
Yellow card there.
There's a yellow card for Armani.
Well, Armani, I think, trying to claim that he was delaying, thinking that there was going to be a substitution made. Still waiting on that introduction of Franco Troshansky for Lanus. And it's going to be Matías Esquivel who comes off. Another decent performance from Esquivel, just hasn't quite been able to unlock River. And for the final 5 minutes or so, they get another attacker in Troshansky. A couple of goals already this season. And can just look to stretch and try and get behind a little bit closer to Diaz.
They play this one quick. There's Bogio. Aguirre. Lema. A good recovery down the middle by Belmonte. There's number 5. Finding Lema. Good ball towards Troshansky. Good cutoff down the middle by Aliendro. Here's Barco. Foul.
Well, here's the big moment from this game, the one that will no doubt dominate discussion in Argentina over the next couple of days. The offside against Canale. Now, as I said at the time, for me, if there's the touch off Canale, then I guess by the letter of the law, he's offside. He's touched the ball last. But for me, it's still inconclusive whether or not he does actually touch the ball.
Chance for Barco carrying this one down the middle. Ball into the area. Here's Beltran. Lucas. Good. For River Plate, Lucas Beltran right off the bench. Beautiful ball into the middle. The reception by number 18 and the finish. And River now with a 2-goal lead. For moments, for minutes, for hours, clinching into the first place of the league. 2 goals to no. Lucas Beltran.
Well, the faces in the stands said it all. They look absolutely sick. Lanus caught with a sucker punch here late on. Really well taken from Lucas Beltran. Really well worked as well. Barco again involved in the build-up. Enzo Diaz, having switched to left back now with that license to get forward, cuts it back, and no one is quite tight enough to Beltran, so he's able to spin, get that touch out of his feet, and then beat the goalkeeper at his near post, and that surely seals it for River Plate, the 3 points here.
another good involvement from Barco as well in the play, starting it off down the middle. Here's De La Vega. Great defensive action. To close this one out by Paulo Diaz, there's Pepe San.
All reports suggesting Pepe San not in the matchday squad. Wanted to be involved against one of his former teams in River.
It will be Boschio putting in this one into the area. On the far post, Brian Aguirre looking to cross this one through. Ball comes in, looking for Lema. No foul whatsoever, says the ref. It looks like two players collided there.
Well, 4 players down. There's the first clash of heads there between Paradella and Aguirre. I think Lema was also involved, still a player down for River. Laughing and joking around him, so I assume it's not too serious as we move towards stoppage time. A good opportunity anyway for River to just help see this one out. Really nicely taken goal this. Canale it is, I think, who just gets sucked back towards his own goal as he keeps following on his run, whereas Beltran stops, looks for the ball into his feet, and you see here that buys him those few yards to be able to pick the ball up, turn and get the shot off unchallenged. Oh, 11 minutes added on here as the board goes up, and that long delay for the disallowed Lanus goal, so no real surprise, but a wry smile on the face of Martin de Michelis.
So 11 minutes, meaning we'll go towards minute 101. Belmonte. Lanus still trying. Orozco gets involved as well. Great ball into the space, looking for Belmonte once again, who tries to play it into the middle. The ball kept inbound. Ball rejected now. And you see how River standing very, very defensively, very conservative as well. Ball into the area. Armani punches this one away. Doesn't want any trouble. Good touch by Barco. Good movement by Lucas Beltran, who shakes the mark away of Boschio. And now the foul from Belmonte. Pretty silly. Pretty childish. Typical frustration foul from number 5. And it will be a free kick for the visitors.
Yeah, an accumulation there as well. As a foul he made about 15 minutes ago when the River players were saying, how many more Belmonte going to give away before you go to the book, and it's taken 93 minutes before finally Toto Belmonte does get his yellow card.
looking towards the last couple of minutes as Barco goes down, of course. Again, spoke about his importance throughout the match. His involvements so far, not only tonight, but through the season as well. The short season that so far we've only played 6 rounds. But that player that would come out to play the last 15-20 minutes of every match, little by little taking more confidence, getting himself a spot in the starting 11, getting involved in the goals as well. And I think that's the player that River went to go get. And look at him. Barco! It's all right, don't worry about it. It's all good. Now, if I would have been praising you and on top of that you would have scored that goal, I would have literally left Peter by himself and I would have been out.
Well, I think if this game was still 0-0 and he did that, then he might be in a bit more trouble. As it is at 2-0 up. It's probably,
that's a different story.
He's probably going to be okay. Enzo Diaz has picked up a yellow card among all this, and managers trying to, or manager, the one that's still out there, Indemicelli's trying to calm things down. This has certainly been bubbling away, hasn't it, ever since really the disallowed goal.
It was a very long ball. Good reception by Santi Simon, who later on loses possession. Look at Robert Rojas making it through the right side. Canale with a very risky challenge. That's going to be a corner. Oh, actually it's going to be a throw-in. Referee says the ball was still inbound when Canale poked it away. Beltran. Here's Belmonte, ball still alive, the cross into the area, and of course there's no one there because Beltran was fighting it off all the way towards the right side. Here's Acosta with the long punt. Good header by Paulo Diaz. Again, now River looking way more confident with a 2-goal lead. Barco once again right at the edge of the area. Has Diaz behind him. Still Barco, good movement towards Palavecino, who sleeps a little bit on it. And the ball gets poked away. No foul against Diaz, says the referee. Barco keeps it alive. Palavecino, nutmeg included. Here's Lema with a slide challenge. Troshansky fighting for it as well. Ball lands in the possession of Beltran. The back heel by Paradela. And this one's going to belong to Lanus. I like Pedro de la Vega in the first half, as well as Esquivel. I think the two best players for Lanus that we've seen throughout the match. Here's Trojanski. Good ball into the far post. A chance of a volley! Goal for Lanus. Franco Orozco, beautiful volley. Nothing, very little to do for Armani on that one, who tried but couldn't deflect it. And now Peter, with approximately 4 minutes to go, Lanus cuts it down to 1 goal, 2-1.
Well, it's a brilliant finish from Orozco. 3 substitute appearances this season and 3 goals for the 21-year-old. The super sub may have struck too late here, but take nothing away from the quality. Trojanski does really well here, hangs it up. And look at the finish. Could easily just try and hammer that, and instead watches it fall over the top of the defence, and as it comes down he just keeps his cool, side foot right into that corner. Impossible for Armani, who rightfully questions who on earth was marking him, but it's a fine finish once again, things boiling over on the benches. We've already played almost 100 minutes now. There should be a minute left, but I think Lautaro Costa's making the point. How many more minutes are we going to add on? We've got another delay here. Oh, and there's another offside check here on the Lanus goal, and it is offside. Trojanski offside as the ball gets put over the top. Lanus's miserable night comes to an end with that.
Wow. Talk about unlucky, huh? Well, these teams are going to have the same record. So 4 more? Wow. Alrighty, so we're going to play 14 minutes of that at a time. Well, 15 actually, because we had 11 originally.
You have to feel for Lanus tonight. How they're going to wonder how on earth we've lost this game by 2-0.
Another ball played deeply, looking for Christian Lema, who's playing as a striker. Here's Trojanski right at the edge of the area. The chance of a shot from number 20. Ball still there. They miss. Ball into the middle! Diaz! What was that?
Huge claims for a penalty, for a handball. When that shot was blocked there, we will see. Is VAR now going to come to the favour of Lanus? Dario Herrera didn't see it. The appeals, though, were instant. Play on seemed to be the signal there.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
No.
You know, 90% of the times when Leandro Diaz is asking for something, most likely it didn't happen. With all due respect. There's 2 players that I'll most likely will never believe. Matias Cócaro and Leandro Diaz. No matter what this... And Laucha Costa as well, because he has his things as well. We know that. What a journey, ladies and gents. Well, River momentarily will remain in the first position. And, of course, we'll have to see what happens later on with Talleres, Defensa y Justicia. who will play against Boca Monday night, if I'm not mistaken, and of course San Lorenzo as well. If none of those teams manage to win, which I kind of see hard to believe, River will remain in the first position, but most likely one of those teams will pick up at least a point that will leave River behind. But at least, again, we spoke about it in the beginning of the game, the importance of keeping yourself up there, grow that momentum, grow the confidence towards the next couple of rounds. Obviously, a defeat for River today would mean that they would be 6 points away from the first place, which it would have been a little more disappointing. Now, knowing that you're involved up there in the fight and the contention, you know, things can become a little more easier. We got 2 balls in the pitch, by the way. I don't know if anyone noticed that. I don't think absolutely no one noticed that. A chance here for Orozco. Careful with this one. Lanus still looking for a goal right at the edge of the area. Here's De La Vega. Has no angle. Has to pass it. Tries to find Troshansky, but pass was just a little too much for number 20.
That presumably will be it. Maybe about 30 seconds remaining, depending on how long Franco Armani takes over this goal kick. I think Lanus know that it's not been their night.
Ladies and gentlemen, the final whistle in the Nestor Diaz Perez Stadium. People obviously very upset because of the result, but River takes 3 very important points back home. And for now, Peter, they remain in the top places of this Argentine LPF.
Yeah, they remain there, River, in the mix. It's, again, not a particularly convincing performance by Martin Demichelis' side, but they got the all-needed win. This was the second Deslau goal right there at the end against Franco Troshansky. A little clearer, perhaps, even if a close one. But certainly he had an influence, unlike the questionable role that Canali had in the other one. And that's going to be the big takeaway, I think, from this game, and why Lanus can consider themselves so unfortunate.
I think a more convincing performance from River Plate tonight. Again, they moved to a record of 4 wins and 2 losses from Martin Demichelis, little by little getting a hang of it. Peter, always a pleasure, my friend. Until next time, take it over.
Thanks, Klaus. Well, unsurprising, the scenes at the end. Players surrounding referee Dario Herrera. Lanus will feel as though the officials certainly played their part in this latest defeat, but it's back-to-back defeats for Lanus after their 4 straight wins to begin. Defeat to Racing 1 week ago, and defeat to River here tonight. Positives to take, perhaps, from both performances, but ultimately defeats. River, on the other hand, not at their best by a long shot, but after defeat to Arsenal last time out, what was crucial is they got the win, and what we did see is a battling performance from Martin Demichelis' side, and a return to form for 1 or 2 players. Robert Rojas at right back, Ezequiel Barco again involved in the attacking moments of the game. But of course, these moments are going to be the ones that are going to be talked about on multiple panel shows around Argentina over the next day or two. Moments of the game, of the VAR decisions there. Well, no highlights for this one. We've got 2 more games coming your way in just a moment, but after myself, Klaus German, and the rest of the team, thank you for joining us here in Lanus for River Plate 2. Lanus 0. We're back very soon with more action from the LPF.